Hello, lads and gents, and welcome to Talent League. Now, to address the big elephant in the room, which is probably me because I'm the only one here. I kind of shot myself in the foot, but I'm going to be solo casting today, so you won't be having no Golumolu. Sadly, we're going to have no co-casters. It's going to be me and me alone. But that's enough for the stream. Today, we're going to be watching Masters Division Playdate number 6. Gay number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to be watching B Esports face off against Soul's Heart. Now, these are two teams that have definitely had the reputation. Now, Soul's Heart, I couldn't get much information on, but B Esports, they haven't had the best of luck when it comes to previous matches. The previous two from yesterday were a loss, and so was the previous match on Talent League, a 3-7 on Oregon of all maps. Hopefully they can actually make it up a bit just today. Now, both teams are ready. So let's actually head over to, well, I'll point in one direction, to the wrong direction. Damn. To the map bands to finally finish it off the sentence. For the map bands, we already see that Oregon quickly gone. That clubhouse at the very end just kind of hopefully setting away, and it's going to be Chalet. Now, Chalet, a beautiful map, honestly, just overall based, and you can't really go wrong with it. So I'm really wondering what these teams have to bring when it comes to this strategic, but at the same time, gun fired up map. So yeah, going into the match as soon as possible. I mean, these teams, they haven't faced off too much in the previous sessions, especially when it comes to Talent League. They're not too far apart, I'd say, skill-wise, at least from my own experience, but esports, not the best of times they're having in these couple of days, so hopefully they can make it up for the previous few matches. And with that, I mean, we really can't complain. It's Chalet. It's a map we can all relax on, talk slowly, see the action and see these teams go completely out. Well, it's not Border. Last time I spectated Border, which was previously on Talent League, to be completely honest, yeah, it was quite a show. Definitely one of the teams rushing in the first two rounds was a blast. But let's actually focus on these two teams today because it's their day and it's their Chalet match. Now, starting off the bans, I'm gonna do a quick prediction so they don't ban before I predict. It's gonna be Dokubi, Ying, Valkyrie, and Fenrir, or switch that Valkyrie out maybe for a Fenrir. Now, of course, I'm going to give you guys some background while these bans are happening. Why these, if you already don't know. If you do, just listen along, because why not listen to me? I'm going to be the only voice you're going to be hearing today. It's going to be Ying. Okay, it's self-explanatory. Those incandelas at the end, absolutely brutal, and the way they can flesh out entire sites is just astonishing. Now, for the second attacker, it's going to be Dokubi. We get 2 out of 2. The bingo is almost ticked off. We need one more for that 3 out of 3, and maybe a 4 out of 4 if we're lucky enough. But Dokubi, the roam clear on this map is needed, especially with the amount of floors that are actually played. Even when the roam is actually in play, you go all the way down. You don't go a floor down. You go 2 floors down, even if it's with that warden to go for a C4 play from below, or be it Valkyrie, whatever it is. Roamers go either 2 floors above or 2 floors below. There's no in the middle. They kind of rotate through that middle floor. Now the ban is going to be Azami. Now, I did call it, or I think it was the mirror I wanted to call it Azami. I was thinking about her, mostly because, I mean, she's one of the most broken operators in the game. We are seeing the bans currently coming out with the most strong utility focused operators. We have the Ying, which makes the execute completely different. You can turn a 3v5 into a 3v1 for all you care if the enemy doesn't have a warden. Then you have that Dokubi for clearing out roamers, giving info. It's basically the best intel operator in the entire damn game. Azami, I mean, it's just a better Castle. It's what Castle wanted to be. When Castle was released, Azami was his dream. He wanted to be Azami, but just couldn't be, and she took that place in front of him, took that dream right under his nose. Now, for the last one, Fenrir. Some people may say he's gutted, but he is not in the same position as Solus. Solus is absolutely gutted because, she was strong because of those early drones, just completely deny any type of intel in the early game. But Fenrir, get rid of one gadget, he still has 2. He's still a walking menace, and where can you go wrong with that? You walk into one of those traps, it's not like an Elegant Gus where you can back off and maybe just, kind of chill it out and the mine is gone. You go back, there's still a bit of smoke over your eyes because that's how his gadget works. It covers your screen with purple smoke. You go back, it's still a bit there. You go back, it activates once again. He can, activate 2 at a time. He can place 4 or 5 of them. It's just an absolutely game-ridiculing operator overall. Now, to put into perspective, We talked about these operators that were banned. How about we talk about the players and the lineups, especially for our lovely striker coming in. We see the new recruit reward coming in. You know, you have Sentry and Striker. I do believe Striker is the attacking one. It would make sense. Sentry, Turret. Turret's a bit more of a defensive gadget, I would say. So let's see how it's going to work out for this team. Because, I mean, what can you do wrong with multiple gadgets? They both have strong guns. But at the same time, they have a lot of utility. EMP impacts, grenades, stuns, flashes, can openers, soft breaches. He has it all. He doesn't have anything special, that is true. But what you can't really go wrong. It's a jack of all trades, to be honest. Now, going on the defensive side, I'm surprised to see a Tubarão. Especially because Tubarão, you know, Chalet isn't necessarily a breach-heavy map. Especially this site, which is Kitchen and Dine. You can't really go for much breaches here besides the you could say Fireplace is definitely a main breach, but it's not that heavily focused because of the angles. You need to take verticality, clear roamers. You know, it's not that deep. And with that bandit, they're definitely going to be securing any type of extra angles for the attackers. But let's actually go into the push. The first one now comes out, and that's going to be a nice opening kill from the side of Chris.Bee. And the Malusi, actually the MPX from Snuggle Malusi. No, that blue icon really got me confused. Blue icon is going to be joining along with Onyx with a yellow, nice blue and yellow combination. Bandit getting a second kill and a third double kill from the side of Onyx. That's going to be a 5v2 for BE Sports in the very start. Absolutely merciless. But, you know, not going down without a fight. It's going to be one from the side of Soulsard, but instantly traded black. Black Wolf is going to be getting one for himself. SMG11 in hand. Absolute destruction. Let me just, you know, there's not enough credit given to the SMG11. I think it is one of the best, not even secondaries. It is definitely, arguably, one of the better guns in the entire game. And give it to a defender without a close-range shotgun, absolute menace. Just an overall flush-out machine. Flood the entire place with blood because you're getting frag after frag if you know how to use it correctly. 40 seconds on the clock. We have Smolin right now. Kind of in a sticky situation. You know, he did get the opening pick for Soul's Heart. Definitely got at least one, not to make it flawless. But the issue is he is in a 1v4 situation. Verticality, he has people inside, he has people offside, and he is a one-man hamburger apocalypse. Gets another opening kill, doesn't finish it though, can count it as a complete kill. Throw some flashes out, you know, try to throw utility, and Onyx finishes it off. MP7 in hand is going to be getting the third kill of the match for himself. You know, that 3-0 KD starting to look very nice, you know, like a nice meal, like a nice 5-star meal. You go to a 5-star restaurant, you feel, okay, this is really expensive, but is it worth it? Oh, they come up with that amazing platter, a lot of food, and a lot of content. And you feel like it's worth it. Every single cent you spent on it, just like he spent on those bullets in the MP7. Now, first round is going to be going over to the side of BE Esports. Chalet, you know, I could argue that defense is better. But at the end, honestly, it really matters on the team composition, on their chemistry, because Chalet is, let's be honest, I would easily call it the new organ. People love her playing Chalet. Everyone knows it because of how often it has been brought up in competitive, and for how much strategies have actually, and new operators, or should I say, old operators have been introduced that have been underrated in the past, such as Frost, such as maybe Mira's getting a bit more chances. You know, she's being recognized definitely, not because of Chalet, but Chalet is definitely one of those maps where you can experiment. You know, it's a really great experimenting map. Now, on to round number 2. We're going, you know,
10 seconds to insertion.
especially for the ranked experience, and in general, I would say there's a bit of an unspoken rule, an unwritten rule. You know, it's not necessarily a rule written into the Siege book of laws, but, and again, it's something that people just know. I would say that the best sites, most of the time, for the majority of maps, are considered to be top or bottom, which used to be the case with Chalet, but this is why we love Chalet. This is why we absolutely love it. All 4 sites are extremely amazing. None is the best. There's not a single site I would consider the best, purely because it really depends on how comfortable the team is and how well they manage to work out their chemistry. If you want to have a really good vertical hold, you know, you want to use those side angles, use those zombies, use those frosts, you really probably like game the bar. If you like going downstairs, you like extending upstairs or being upstairs and extending down, you know, it really depends on what your team comp is. That's why we love Chalet. But, or bar, we're gaming. And these guys are gaming as well, because look at them take these, just overall extension for the side of the Esports right now is amazing. You know, they're barricading everything off, forcing Soul's Heart to kind of reveal positions and just in case their plan as well before actually entering the building, like breaking down barricades, kind of informing you, hey, we're coming through the Zor sooner than later, or at least throwing our utility in. But this is where Soul's Heart is doing it wrong. You know, they're taking a fast approach, but B Esports is not going to be about it. As soon as he's going to be starting it off with a very nice wallbang. MT following it up. That's going to be a second kill onto Mr. Easter. Mr. Easter is far gone, and so are you, since it's a 5v3 situation just like earlier. You know, earlier at the 5v3 is where the refrag or the trade came out from Soul's Heart, and it was by none other than Smolen. So will he do it again? I mean, he's alive, he's on the same operator, but you know, does lightning strike twice? Because Soul's Heart definitely isn't making it happen just yet. MD looking not too good on that HP. Warden's being quite cocky, and Adapts will be the one opening it up onto Onyx. 4v3 situation, you know, getting closer, and that Warden's still very low. A second one from Adapts. That's going to be a flick onto Blue Stairs, or my mistake, Library Stairs. And Chance gets him down there, but Sunzi talking about another kill. That's going to be a double for him. Just getting that refrag, so Soul's Heart isn't going to be having that man advantage for more than a second. 40 on the clock. Now we're slowly starting to get into the action. Now we're slowly there. You know, we're kind of creeping into Library. This is the vertical hold you really do want to do as B Esports. You want to kind of waste that time, waste that utility, and that's what they've done. They have the floors, which honestly is quite a threat. Honestly, Flores is the best operator to take out as soon as possible because of those deadly drones, that intel, and that gun. Jens with another one, double kill for himself. 1v2, soon he's out the game. A very aggressive push comes out for Chris, lowers him down to 2 HP. 90 more for Smolen, and he finishes the job. Soul's Heart with their first round number 2, just managing to now kind of even out the score. And that's about it. You know, it seems like barring gaming wasn't necessarily the decision for B Esports. Maybe not the first time. Maybe they're going to give it a second chance, or they're going to be going master bedroom and office upstairs. And of course, we've been seeing Striker quite a lot. You know, we've also been seeing operators like Flores. We've been seeing people like Nomad, Hibana. And what I really love about these operators is I feel like Siege does this one great thing. You know, it definitely does like justice to underrated operators, such as Capital, such as Fox. You know, they kind of make these sites, reworks, or whatever, adds, buffs, nerfs, that actually make operators that aren't played a lot more played. Now, of course, we can make exceptions for people like Clash, Kali, Glaz, because those are very exceptional operators. But operators that really have potential sometimes need to get brought out, and that's what we're seeing especially shine on this map right now. We see that Capitao, which honestly isn't underrated anymore. I'm just talking old since I'm basically a boomer when it comes to competitive. But whatever it is, you know, I still love seeing some of these operators. You know, it's not the normal as Zofia pick, go with a hard breach, go with a soft support, and then a flex like, I don't know, IQ. But it's just this overall spread out one strategy force mechanic. We call it a one trick, but you know, these teams, they can't depend on one trick because when one thing goes wrong, they gotta switch to the other. Now, going over to round number 3. See a bit of a split push coming out. I mean, it's going to be Strophy. It's going to be definitely also a bit from the side of Windows. I feel like most pressure is coming definitely from things like Piano Windows, maybe Fluke, just in general. But the main push for this site is definitely upstairs and start advancing all the way from Solarium towards Library, because that verticality, like we said, you need to get rid of roamers and you need to get Library control, because the entirety of the floor is completely soft below you. So you can check out the entire site if you want to, at least when it comes to gaming. Not bar itself, but bar comes later. You know, you can actually go into bar by just going through Fireplace, or maybe using those hatches to your advantage that you managed to acquire via verticality. Now, 1 minute has been wasted. Not wasting time. Soul's Heart is definitely going about it quickly, and oh, are they doing so correctly. MD getting early downed, not too good, especially because Esports has been the one with opening kills, double, triples even, but that's not going to be the same forever. They don't have a Doc, they don't have a Thunderbird to help that Warden up, so he's going to be in quite, some would say, a pickle. So, 1 minute 35, slowly starting down. slowly starting to tick-tock. The revive does manage to barely come out, but that Flores is why you want to take him out quickly if possible. The amount of pressure he puts on these tight and strong angles. You know, you have that, let's say a shield on Library Stairs. You have a very tight angle on it. It's strong. It is very hard to get rid of. And, you know, you can't throw nades because you have a Wamai there. And you can't necessarily use Twitch drones to get rid of those Wamais because of the mute. What use? Probably Flores because he has a lot of destructibility and he's the perfect operator for scenarios like these. Another perfect scenario for this would be an opening pill for Soul's Heart. MBRI starting it off heavily, R4C in hand, 4v5 on the clock. Now we're slowly starting to advance. Yet again, verticality is soon to be theirs, but they're still starting to be wary. You know, they're not going to let complete control to themselves and just let everything go past their heads. They're going to take it carefully. Watch out for roamers. You see those scams, they're watching for flanks. And what they're not watching out for is Chris with that SMG11 gets an opening pick onto Smolin. Not too good of a start, but Smolin definitely the flex of the team, or at least the operator seems a bit more flexy-ish because, you know, he doesn't have a main role. He's just there for that secondary gadget, though needs to flush out things. And another thing flushed out is going to be Onyx, but Chris gets an instant trade. A bit of a flank coming out from the Warden going all the way down. While that's happening, Adapt is going to begin one onto Chris. 2v3 situation. Warden perfectly accumulating in another kill for himself. MD, one onto Jensen. That's going to be another double kill from the side of Black Wolf. Vector in hand. Absolute shredder of a gun. I mean, the Vector, it's just an upgraded SMG11 if you ask me. Up until some point, you know, just a bit more ammo, better fire rate. Damage is right about there, I would say, if, of course, my memory is still holding up tight. But second round is, or actually, round number 3, second round for BE Sports, and they're going to be continuing it on. Now, of course, this game doesn't really take a really deep turn. I'll say that this game, or most of Rainbow Six Siege games, really come down when someone has a score of 5. Because at 6, you get that match point, and that's when it gets really tight, because, you know, whoever gets to 5 or 6 first gets to that match point as an early way of getting out of this, because remember, best of 1, not best of 3, not best of 5, not the grand finals, but still a lot to put up. You know, you'd rather win than lose. That's, of course, good for your stats and your overall looks. Even if it doesn't matter to you as a team, why would you go for the loss? Go for the win. Give yourself a nice day, you know, go to sleep knowing that you won against the opposite team today and that you did good. So, teams are looking quite close, I'd say. Definitely does come down to the 2v1, 1v3, 1v1 situations, at least for the past 2 rounds. The first one was just demolition, but Soul's Heart adapted quickly. You know, they definitely got used to BE Sports' playstyle very early into the game. You know, normally, this is not necessarily a compliment, but when I see teams in general, in this game, they take some time, unless of course they're complete professionals like G2 or PDS, but they definitely take some time adapting to the enemy team. So the enemy team, if they're on defense, you know, attacking is definitely difficult for the majority of T4 teams. But Soul's Heart, you know, seems like they have a bit of a hang on it. Maybe they checked out some BE Sports before getting into the match, seeing what's the cons and the pros of going up against them. But they got around for themselves, and on attack, I prefer, personally, I would definitely recommend attack. You get as much points as you want, because when it's going to be defense, yeah, you're a lot more comfortable. You're cozy. You have your blanket next to you. You're inside behind that mirror window. You have those shields. You have the gadgets. The attackers need to come to you. You don't need to come to them. And if you go to them, you have that aggression on you, because defender aggression is definitely a sword of its own. Going on now, we are again, you know, not to the top floor, but we are going to be taking that verticality very soon. Also going for that main breach, which I do see BE Sports. I mean, they are very focused on denying any type of breach from coming out. You have the Tuberon, you have the Bandit, you have the Cade. For God's sake, all you need is a mute. But it really depends. Again, this is a map that has a lot of destructibility. It's not complete Oregon, but you can destroy the floor above the breach. You can destroy the ceiling. You can destroy things from below when you're upstairs and from above when you're downstairs. And the thing is, with this map, it goes directly down to breach. The undestructible floors are not where the breach is, so the attackers have an easy way of going about it without Thatcher. They just need to clear verticals, which BE Sports, they're not playing roamers, they're not aggressing for that top control. So I mean, Soulsheart just gets an easy way of getting that breach open. As we're talking about opening things, another opening kill coming on to the side of Chris. In the meanwhile, Overy will be getting one for himself. The Warden coming out. Oh, what a counter to the Flash. Black Wolf, another kill. Just continuing the demolition from the previous match. And as we're talking about it, you have a Thermite, but he hasn't been able to breach. You have the verticality. Well, that gate has definitely been tricky. And you have 30 seconds on the clock to start pushing down into side. A spread push coming in. Drones are coming out. One going main and one going blue. The Thermite does actually manage to shoot out a bandit, but the Cade is still there. You have the hatches closed, and he's stuck in the corner, but you do have some crossfire. Speaking of which, Smolin tries to go down blue stairs, but he's going to be unsuccessful. Now we're going to be seeing one kill coming out from the side of the Thermite. Double kill, or the second kill for Black Wolf. Mr. Easter does manage to trade back his fallen teammate. MD with one. MD gonna be joining along with Black Wolf. Black Wolf a triple kill for himself, and without the diffuser being able to be planted, since you're in a 1v2 situation, you try to get that last pick. You're in a 1v2. If you want to go for a plant, you're getting pushed from two sides. You cannot do anything besides cancel because they know where you are. You have no clue where they are. They could be hiding up above. They could be right next to you, neck breathing behind you for all you know. But you can't go for a plant because it's basically a lost situation. So you take out one, and then you maybe get a chance. But again, we see that amazing use of the Warden Google glasses. You know, coming out, countering the flash, and peeking just perfectly enough to get an unexpected shot. Or an unexpected pre-fire, some may say. Esports, round number 3, or actually, I'm mistaken, round number 4, their third round. And, you know, a 3-to-1 split, not too bad. Esports, right now, they're looking quite good. They can't go into a negative split. They can't go 2-4, 1-5, or 0-6 when they're on the defense, but they can go 3-3, they can go 4-2, 5-1, 6-0. They can go into a very good split when switching over to that attack. And seeing how well they've been with their gadgets and utility in general, they had C4 kills. They had Warden. Just everything, the bandit tricking, the Kate tricking, the Tubarao usage, preventing any type of breach from coming out. They have been definitely successful on defense, but I'm wondering how they're going to utilize that on attack. I'm wondering if timings are going to be on point and if everything's going to be looking good, because we're returning after a 4-round cycle back to dining and kitchen. The first round they dominated on, and the side they were absolutely destroying. Sundi again! Another amazing kill onto Adapt. That's going to be not only a man off Soul's Heart, or a player, it's gonna be the Thermite, and it's gonna be the Capital. The execute is completely finished. You don't have smokes, you don't have the fire bolts for that breach for someone to go and plant in, and you can't even get the breach in the first place because the Thermite is just gone 6 foot under. Call him dead if you want, because it's the truth, and now all you have is drones and hope and guns, because you're gonna need to fire away through it. That's exactly what we're gonna be doing. Smolin with a nice opening pick for Soul's Heart, trying to get some nice pre-fires. He managed to take out Chris, who was, you know, wandering about. Still wants to get himself some extra kills, but won't be doing that. He's going to be getting taken out. 4v3 on the score. No breaches are coming out. So Fireplace Breach, you're going to need to play off of verticality, hopefully get some kills while you're trying to take that verticality, the upstairs roam, and then go down, take site, and force some 1v1s, or preferably 2v1s for your situation, or maybe even 3v2s or 3v1s for Soul's Heart, because right now, they cannot go into a 3v4, because if it's going to be refrag game, Esports is going to be looking at 4 rounds. And keep in mind, you have no execute power. You can't get to the execute, at least not the planned one. You can still, you know, get some sort of execute off if you manage to actually get a kill or two, but then it's going to be a very one-sided push because this is, no, it's not very main breach focused, but you still would prefer to create some extra angles, extra force, and extra pressure, which is done perfectly by taking out Onyx. Ended off the board, but another gunfight is slowly, reassuringly coming out. You know, Muvry taking some damage, looking at 81, not a very good number, but it's better than definitely 20. 2v3 comes out, a nice kill onto Zunzi. That's going to be a 2v3 situation, looking very protect, very nice. They have managed to flip the table out from a 5v3 to a 3v2. Absolutely stunning. You know, not only that, They've gotten top floor. They don't need to go for main breach. But Black Wolf again, he has been absolutely dominating this entire match. The C4 comes out, and it does not connect just in time. The Ash player does manage to move out the way, but, you know, still a shotgun kill, still manages to do a 2v2. And if anyone's going to be pushing Fireplace side, it's going to be a tough battle because that close quarter shotgun is definitely going to be putting up some work. The drop comes out, and the flashes himself. MD takes full advantage, looks away from a flash like you should, and takes out the Nomad. Now it's down to a 2v1, and Black Wolf again finishing it off. SMG11 in hand. Absolute monster. Black Wolf has been just going off and off and off round after round. We've seen a triple kill from him earlier when they were downstairs, and now we saw another one, or a double kill, whatever it was. He has been absolutely handing it to them. Now, 4-1. 4-1 B Esports. 4-1. If they make it 5-1, I'm going to start giving up hope slowly but surely. And while you're watching these insane shots, let me take a sip of water. Dude, H2O, especially towards the night, absolutely hits different. It feels like mountain water, you know? You definitely look at the water differently when you're thirsty and it's late at night or very early in the morning. You know, throughout the day, it's a bit mid. It's normal. It's water. It doesn't have a taste. It has a taste of water. But going through that late night, when you're thirsty, when you're talking for about an hour, remember to hydrate. Thank you. This is why you gotta love Talent League, you know? The production team looks out for you guys. They look out for me. This is why we love them. They take care of you mentally and physically. So, without further ado, let's see how more of a mental challenge that can be for Soulsheart going on and continuing on to this match. 4-1 score, you can definitely come back from 4-2. 5-1, I wouldn't be so sure. Soulsheart, you definitely want to win this because you would be way better off going into a 4-2 than a 5-1. And it's not like, oh yeah, it's obvious because they would get an extra point. They would be closer to B Esports. It's obvious. No, because if B Esports is 5-1, they are 1 round away from match points. That's horrible. That's horrible how they've been doing. Oh, not for them. B Esports is going to be shining. They're going to be gold. Bright smiles on their face. And one thing that's not going to be shining through is going to be MD's expectancy right now. MD, early pick onto him. But the Capcan traps are still around, and you do not have a Brava to hack those, nor a Twitch to destroy him. A very close wallbang. Almost Chris's head taken off, but Soul's playing aggressive more than they ever have. You know, they've had enough. They need to win this round, and they're going to do it if B Esports likes it or not. Going fully aggressive in, that Capcan was a weird choice to go with. You know, I'm not very keen to seeing Capcan in general, but I guess you could never go wrong with him because you haven't seen Soulsheart play Twitch or Brava, so or IQ for that matter. But him getting taken out first is going to reveal for some information. Maybe if they didn't know about the Capcan earlier, they surely do now. Time is being wasted though. Soulsheart definitely, you know, using those Flores drones to clear out any type of utility, going for that library take yet again. They've been doing quite well when pushing down, but do not forget, B Esports, they're not completely giving up yet. Now, Sunzi taking some early damage. 90's not looking too good compared to his teammates. You know, those triple digits are a lot more beautiful than a 9-0, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's still above that 50%. Flashes are coming out, and they don't have a warden like they did previously, but none flashes are going to be actually hitting the Swamai. Staying steadily. Actually, Malusi, my mistake. Another. These blue icons just confuse me one after another. Chris is going to be getting one onto for himself. Oh, but in the meanwhile, Onyx will be getting down, so we could technically confirm it's a 3-4. Mind me, 3v3, a double kill coming out for Chris. A triple kill from the side of B Esports. Sunzi peeking out. Head is going to be getting 1, getting 2. Sunzi with a double kill, 3v1 situation, and now it's down to the striker taking some advantage. You know, he's playing on those windows, trying to cut off as much rotations as he can, but he's in a gunfight where people know where he is, and he has way more angles to watch out for. He doesn't know if someone's to his right. Maybe he does. Maybe he droned out the place, but he needs to watch out for that small box on the left. He needs to watch out for the door on the right, and he's revealing himself every second he shoots a shot. A bullet is a lot of information, especially for the side of B Esports, and they're looking at a nice 5-1 if I'm being completely honest. Oh, he throws a flash and doesn't get away unscathed. A bit of damage is taken, but it's not too much. 10 seconds on the clock, and I don't think he's going to make it. Not only does he not have the fusel because it's 1 floor above, looking down on him, he also had 3 seconds, and he almost gets the shot into Chris. Takes out the shotgun on far range, and surprisingly, I know it's surprising, won't be able to get the kill on medium to long range with a shotgun of all things, especially the secondary Jackal shotgun. Whatever it might not be, it is a round for Soul's Heart. 5-1 for B Esports, and they are one round away from match point. B Esports, I've said earlier, they lost the previous 2 matches yesterday. And they lost the previous Talent League Masters match against Falke, or Falke, or Falke. I don't know how to pronounce it. The one thing I'm never going to admit to being good at is pronouncing T4, just league and player names. But it doesn't matter. If you lose some rounds, doesn't mean you're going to lose all of them. Soul's Heart, 5-1. Maybe this defense is going to prove worthy. Defensive side has definitely been a miracle for T4 teams, especially in the leagues I've been casting, because, oh my god, sometimes it gets brutally close and even scary at some points. But B Sports, they've been consistent. Soul's Heart, even though they have adapted at the very early stages, they have not been able to keep up because B Sports, they're very consistent. They do not let things go one after another. And let's take a look at some new operators we're seeing. Earlier I said that Soul's Heart isn't really playing that Twitch, playing that Brava. We just saw both of those for a second. Okay, the Brava did get switched over for a Grim, but we still have that Twitch, and we have the Ace. With Soul's Heart, use a lot of Thermite. It's a pretty big hole that you make, but it's not as fast and it's not as effective because you only have 2 of your charges. Ace has 3, so going up against Gate and Bandit Trickers is definitely going to be a thing where you would preferably bring Aces because they're faster, it's easier to breach, it's also quieter, you throw them, it's safer, it has advantages. And also, preferably the AK-12 would be better than Thermite AR. Without further ado, also seeing the Mozzie, brought up, and that Frost, which I am hoping, if earlier wasn't no Capcan trap kills, at least give me a Frost kill. For the love of God, please make it happen. But early spotting's coming onto the Mozzie. He knows where they are, and Zunzi with an opening pick, that's going to be the so-called Mozzie. Adab's getting 1, Mr. Easter getting the 2nd, empty in Zunzi. Refrag and trade coming out, 2-for-1 combo, 2 minutes on the clock, very early kills. You have the Twitch, you have the Grim, which is not only going to be utility destruction of the board, at least majorly, it's also going to be that Grim, which Grim, absolutely stunning for denying angles and giving information at the same time. Because of how wide the swarm of bees is, Grim is definitely an operator that can deny some angles, because even if you try to peek it, if you get close to the angle, you're already exposed. What happens when you peek it? Head is taken off. Onyx, head might not be taken off, but those body shots are for sure going to count. Don't consider it a 2v4 situation. Now, these defenders, Soul's Heart, definitely having a good early round, but Onyx will be getting picked up, and there he is. 20 HP, better than nothing. Can't really complain, but, Dockstep never hurts, especially from the side of Finka. Those nanotech, nanobots, whatever you want to call them, they really do help out at times. Whatever it is, we're running out of time, B Esports. And you're also running out of players. You need to make those trades quickly. Chris with a bit of an unintentional hop back, going one floor down in a matter of even less than 2 seconds. Small mistake, nothing major to make fun of. But one thing that is quite major is the time in this and advantage to Soul's Heart. They're keeping it. They're grasping it like it's like their life depends on it, because it kind of does. Earlier, they almost got a round off of actually, or maybe that was their round where they got that massive man advantage out of nowhere. Not completely sure, but they still have those Capital bolts coming in. Verticality is going to be included, so Ace will not be getting a good plan. Black Wolf will be getting a kill for himself, but Jens, a nice kill, a trade directly onto him. Mr. Reeser with a second this match, and Jens along with Mr. Reeser, both getting 6 seconds onto Chris, finishing the job. Verticality, this is why you go for it. This is why you go for that verticality. Because, come on. You need to have those angles. You need to clear them out. If you want to go for a half-wall plant, which is the default plant on this map, or not on this map, on the site, if you want to go for that plant, you need to have a safe spot. Because you go through the window and you're instantly by that half-wall that basically protects you from everything besides verticalities and C4s. Now C4s, okay, that's a bit of a harder thing to get rid of, besides shooting them. But verticality is definitely a thing Verticality is definitely a thing that you can get rid of. And that's what the attacking force is playing for. I've been constantly mentioning, I know I'm looping back to it for the 15th time, but it's very important. And again, this is going to be the same battle. They're going to be taking windows, they're going to be taking office, library side. You clear out the entirety of top floor. And then maybe if you lose a player, he goes on cams, you preset some drones left and right on fireplace, on library stairs, on wherever you need to be. And then you just go to town. As the attacker, you know, you have the frag potential. You have the bigger frag potential, definitely more of it than Soulshard's defense. But it hasn't been proving to be correct when you lose these gunfights. Now, one of the things that hasn't been used a lot is definitely Valkyrie. I don't think I'm either starting to have short-term memory loss, or Valkyrie has not been used a lot by B Esports. But whatever the case is, Valkyrie is definitely one of the strongest operators because of her deadly intel. You know, we do get some, she does get spotted out quite times, but if a Valkyrie camera is placed correctly, it's going to be an extremely difficult spot. Now, let's go a bit more into the action. Slowly starting to creep up on the side of top mezzanine. You know, took that control, took library, droned it all out. You still have to watch out. Maybe someone could be playing bottom library. Like I said, these defenders, they play everywhere if they wish to, but doesn't matter. A lot of aggression already coming out from the side of Soulshard, but they're relying on these non-informed free shots, quick shots, whatever you hip fires even if they need to. B Esports, they're relying on gadgets, and it's been working out for them perfectly, at least when it comes on defense. For the first attacking round, they haven't been having too good luck. Now they're on round 8, they have that second chance, but Mr. East is going to be taking it out from that. As soon as he's taken out, that's going to be the Twitch again. Basically the first victim of the previous round, or the second victim, my mistake. But let's take a look at this. Smolin. I mean, this is these deadly angles that shields and zombies can create. Thankfully, zombie isn't in the match, but you still have those deployable shields. What you also have is an opening pick for B Esports, but a returning 2-for-1 combo. Black Wolf and Chris off the board. Onyx joining them in the grave. 1v4 situation out of black, out nowhere. And now we are down to MD. Now, 1v4 situations are definitely improbable. Of course, not impossible to win. Again, I said it, improbable. Hard thing to do, especially when you have a lot of close range gunfights against operators that are perfect for it. The thorn trap gets set off, you get confused, you either get killed by it or by the thorn. You go close to that mute, of course a 12 gauge is going to hurt more than one bullet from the L85, and then you also have intel from Valk. It's just a very hard situation. So MD, I mean, as much as I would like to believe in you, you don't have the gadgets, you don't have the information, and you don't have the time. Another thing he's left with is 0 HP. Jen's finishing it off. Very nice. We've been seeing a lot of this SMG11. My goodness. But Soulshard getting their third round. 5-3, starting to slowly back B Esports up. I mean, B Esports, they're getting cornered. Absolutely. They are okay. You know, they've had their good share. They're 5-1. But they need to get their stuff together, because that match point, if they can get 6-3 at least, you get this round, you are looking extremely comfortable, because you force Soulshard to win match after match or round after round. Otherwise, they lose. Now we're going to be going downstairs. Only saw this site once, and B Esport dominated here as defenders. Will Souls do the same? Let's see. They're definitely not going to be relying on the main breach as much as B Esports, you know, just taking that bandit off the board. But again, this utility, they've definitely been using it a bit more for intel, or should I say passive intel. You see that Melusi, you have the Legion. You are not getting snuck up from behind from anywhere. Anyone trying to go for that nook play on the side of, let's say blue stairs, let's say even wine or trenches, it's not happening. Melusi, Legion, it all gets deployed. It all tells you where it is. Even if it gets shot out, that's enough of a sound call for the enemies to know you're there. Now for the side of B Esports, I'm looking at that Glass very nicely. You know, especially Glass, because he's one of the more used situational characters, but this is definitely one of them. You can either bring for the smokes a Glass, or I would prefer also a Capital, because, you know, you kind of, instead of having to watch these angles and play off of them and shoot claymores, or not claymores, my mistake, shoot C4s, you just kind of, fire them off, and then you have to watch like 1 or 2 angles out of the 15 that are on this map and on this breach. But the entire team, B Esports, completely outside the breach. Not a single player elsewhere. It is the definition of a one-sided push. Glass starting to peek out. The enemy does not have a warden to help him out. This Glass, they're going for the plant adapt. Team kills Jens with a C4. MD gets one onto Maverick. 5v3, 5v2, MD with a second kill. Smolin off the boards. Plant is down and you are hopeless. You have a Glass outside. Long range directly onto that diffuser. You are not going to win that gunfight, especially with an MPX or any type of gun. Another kill coming out from MD. Onyx with one for himself, and I believe that's going to be a flawless, not a complete ace, or a 5-man kill from the side of B Esports, because how does a C4 team kill happen? I'm wondering that myself. I'm assuming maybe it got stuck on a player. Maybe someone tried to pre-throw the C4, but one got in front of it. But then both of them would have died, or they could have waited. Honestly, I don't know how it happened. It's a miracle. But whatever it is, it was B Esports' 6th round. Now they're looking at the match point 6-3. We get one more, and it's going to be over for today. Best of one. Now, honestly, we're going right now, continuing on to the possible round. This is very possibly the very last round. Now, Soul Tower have had a very good time on this side, because last time they played it, they got an early 5v3, kept their verticality, and didn't let a single second of the plant come down. That is the absolute dream you want to have on this site, because, if you keep your verticality, you have basically one-side control, you have the best plant position controlled, and you also just take care of bar then, because, you have verticality on gaming, so you're set for that. And if the Esports lose their men very quickly, they're not going to be looking too good into the future of this match, because how they did it previously, they gave up on the verticality, and they gave up on just trying to get into 1v1 situation. Maybe not that, but definitely on that verticality. And they just went for that window, hoping to get a good pre-fire on the mute / smoke upstairs. I believe it was the mute. And that, of course it was Jens. Jens has been playing a lot of mute, and that was the player I'm referencing. But it's just an unwinnable fight. Not necessarily unwinnable, but again, low chance to win it, and not a lot of options to go with. I'm going to take another sip, stay hydrated. But yeah, not a situation you necessarily want to be stuck in. So they're definitely going a fast take. I've been loving how these teams, they do fast takes when it actually comes to the roam clear, because none of these teams is very heavy on roaming. They are turtling inside quite, or at least in their objective, quite differently. We have seen some roams, let's say the Warden coming up from blue stairs, managing to get a kill when B Esports was under the defense. That's the only occasion I can actually remember. Now, while that's happening, we're going to be ticking off our explosive bingo. We saw a C4 kill. We saw a C4 team kill. But now, of all things, we see a Claymore kill coming out onto Gen Z, the shining star of the previous round on Gaming and Bar. That's going to be moved off the board. And also a lot of ground just given up to the side of B Esports. They have a ton of verticality, but they don't have that ace. Not going to be having any breaches come out. A lot of aggression coming out, but adapts taken out. Double kill coming out from B Esports. A bit of a revenge kill onto Chris taken out. That's going to be the Capitao off the board. You cannot count those smokes in anymore. What you also can't count in is that Finka boost. The heals are going to be off the board, and so is going to be Onyx. A nice kill from the side of Smolin. He's being basically pinched out, doesn't know where they are. Does manage to get some damage in, but not finish the job. MD revolver Western style. It's going to be a standoff, and he's going to be winning it, as we're down to a 2v1 situation. B Esports in their final possible take. You are in a 2v1. You have the Deimos track. You know where he is. You can't play it like this. You should not play it too aggressively, but doesn't matter. MD has the revolver, and he has all the info he needs. Goes for that nice shot. Small box is restricted, and so is the ammo in the opponent's bullets, or should I say magazine. And victory will be going to B Esports. Lost 3-7 against Valk. They're definitely going to be winning 7-3 against Soul's Art, and they're going to be taking this BO1, and sadly, our previous match was forfeited, so that's going to be it for today. Previous match, I was kind of hoping for that to happen as well, but it was forfeited. Not much happened of it. But whatever it was, B Esports absolutely astonishing performance today. They definitely just crumbled the hell out of Soul's Heart. And while Soul's Heart, they had an early start. I actually thought that there was going to be a yin yang kind of composition. They were going to be really close to each other, just battling for that pillar, battling for that number one spot on the BO1, just going one for one round. But it didn't seem to be that situation. And in the end, PE Sports managed to take it. So with that was today's BO1, only one, not too sadly. And again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening to one caster for a change of pace. And thank you to the production. And we will be seeing you next time, which should be hopefully tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day.